A low-carbon economy (LCE), low fossil fuel economy (LFFE), or decarbonized economy is an economy based on low-carbon power sources that therefore has a minimal output of greenhouse gas (GHG) emissions into the biosphere, but specifically refers to the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide. GHG emissions due to anthropogenic human activity are the dominant cause of observed global warming, climate change, since the mid-20th century. Continued emission of greenhouse gases will cause further warming and long-lasting changes around the world, increasing the likelihood of severe, pervasive and irreversible impacts for people and ecosystems. Many countries around the world are designing and implementing low-emission development strategies (LEDs). These strategies seek to achieve social, economic and environmental development goals while reducing long-term greenhouse gas emissions and increasing resilience to climate change impacts. Globally implemented low-carbon economies are therefore proposed by those having drawn this conclusion, as a means to avoid catastrophic climate change, and as a precursor to the more advanced, zero-carbon economy. Nations may seek to become low-carbon or decarbonized economies as a part of a national climate change mitigation strategy. A comprehensive strategy to mitigate climate change is through carbon neutrality. The aim of LCE is to integrate all aspects of itself from its manufacturing, agriculture, transportation, and power generation, etc. around technologies that produce energy and materials with little GHG emission, and, thus, around populations, buildings, machines, and devices that use those energies and materials efficiently, and dispose of or recycle its wastes so as to have a minimal output of GHGs. Furthermore, it has been proposed that to make the transition to an LCE economically viable we would have to attribute a cost per unit output to GHGs through means such as emissions trading and/or a carbon tax. Some nations are presently low-carbon societies that are not heavily industrialized or populated. In order to avoid climate change on a global level, all nations considered carbon-intensive societies, and societies that are heavily populated might have to become zero-carbon societies and economies. Several of these countries have pledged to cut their emissions by 100% via offsetting emissions rather than ceasing all emissions, carbon neutrality. In other words, emitting will not cease but will continue and will be offset to a different geographical area. EU emission trading system allows companies to buy international carbon credits, thus the companies can channel clean technologies to promote other countries to adopt low-carbon developments.